I got into Bitcoin in early 2017 at $2,500 a coin. People at that time laughed at me or thought that I'd got myself into crime or money laundering. Now, I had excellent reasons for getting into Bitcoin. I read the Bitcoin white paper and I realized that I'd found a store of value which was decentralized, didn't have a CEO or marketing team, was not linked to the traditional financial system, and which gave me financial self-sovereignty. I realized that I'd found a store of value which I could steadily accumulate, and over time it would increase substantially in value. And very importantly, it enabled me to hold my own private keys, so I had access to my Bitcoin 24/7 without going through any centralized provider, any bank, and without asking for permission, and without having to trust anyone else. Now, a bank run occurred yesterday on Celsius. Celsius is a centralized middleman that enabled people to buy, swap, earn, borrow, and send crypto and earn very high yields of 17%. When the run started, Celsius froze all the crypto that people deposited with them. In my work helping to educate people about Bitcoin, I was asked about Celsius and other similar platforms by several people, and my advice was always the same. Don't deal with them. It's too early. The industry is not regulated, and the terms and conditions of these types of platforms put you as an investor at a big disadvantage in comparison to them, who hold all the power and control. Bitcoin is all about not needing to trust centralized providers. It was the first practical solution to the double spend problem, the Byzantine generals problem as we call it in computer science. The only reason we needed centralized providers was because the double spend problem had not been solved before Bitcoin came along and solved it. All centralized providers really do is they maintain a central and authoritative ledger of everyone's debits and credits. Bitcoin figured out a way to get rid of the ledger by making it open and transparent and distributing it in a new manner, in a way that everyone has a copy of it. So we don't need the centralized provider anymore. We don't need a centralized ledger anymore. The ledgers are just distributed to people around the network or to computers on the network. Now, I got into Bitcoin because it's an alternative to the traditional financial industry. And what do I see? The industry is being rebuilt with a new set of middlemen scumbags. Bitcoin removes the need for middlemen, yet a massive industry of middlemen has been built. Are people just too stupid, greedy, or lazy that they don't want to think? Don't want to do the hard work of understanding Bitcoin and achieving financial self-sovereignty? I'm afraid the answer is yes. People are too stupid. They are too lazy and they're too greedy, and they don't want to think. Otherwise, why do we have such a massively growing crypto middleman industry getting rich off fees and charges? An industry that's concentrated on altcoin scams instead of on building better rails for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Now, this market crash has highlighted just how many sharks and scumbags there are in the crypto industry. It's currently a lot worse than the traditional financial industry because that industry, at least, is heavily regulated. Regulation is coming to crypto. You can bet on that. The industry cannot be allowed to continue in the way it currently operates. It really sickens me what's going on out there. This is not why I got into Bitcoin. It's important that we don't lump Bitcoin in with crypto. My strategy is the same now as it has always been since I first got into Bitcoin at $2,500 a coin. Buy Bitcoin. Dollar cost average into Bitcoin over a long period of time. Take ownership of your private keys. Store your private keys on a crypto steel capsule and keep them off-site. If you need to sell Bitcoin, dollar cost average out of it over a long period of time. Don't try to time the market. Avoid centralized providers and middlemen. Empower yourself to be your own bank and your own payment processor. Avoid YouTube shills. Avoid altcoins completely, and that includes Ethereum. Bitcoin is currently in a fire sale, and the price is at an extremely oversold value. Only around 3% of the time is Bitcoin available to be purchased at this kind of valuation. 97% of the time, it's higher. Read into that what you will. Just be very careful out there, people. Go to my website, read through the Bitcoin consulting section, download the Bitcoin speakers spreadsheet that I made, which lists the trustworthy and the untrustworthy people in the space. Go to my YouTube channel. Watch my videos about Bitcoin. Go to Trader University's channel and watch all of their videos about Bitcoin. They're brilliant. Check out Andreas Antonopoulos' work on Bitcoin. He's one of the very best educators out there in the space. Now, in time, we'll get through this current bear market. Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Lightning Network will survive and prosper. Most, if not all, of the altcoins will fail. Many middlemen providers will fail. Make sure you keep your Bitcoin off exchanges and don't trust middlemen providers who are only there to make fees off of you. The best people in the space are giving away their educational material for free or at a low price, and it's not full of hype, scams, or promotional material for exchanges, altcoins, or other middlemen. Be extremely wary of venture capitalists like Galaxy Digital, Pantera Capital, Andreessen Horowitz, and their ilk. They're all getting rich off funding altcoins, taking a big slice of the pie, then dumping their free or their very cheaply purchased altcoins on retail investors at very high prices. Fuck these people. All right, I'm done.